Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to our weekly BhagavatSanga program. This is our program where devotees read a set of prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam and then present and share their realizations. We are starting a new theme this week, the wonderful prayers of Sukhdev Goswami. The reference for these prayers is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, verses 12 to 23. Today we have a wonderful devotee presenting, Siva Prabhu. Thank you, Siva Prabhu. And with that, devotees, over to you, Siva Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji's Mataji's. Today we are going to read the slokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam, second chapter, the cosmic manifestation. In the fourth chapter, that is the creation process. And from slokas from 12 to 23, these are like prayers of Sukhdev Goswami. We are going to read today. And before starting the prayers, just we'll have the Guru mantra. We'll recite the Guru mantras and everything. Om Ajnanatimirandasa Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunimuttam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanyam Mano Visnam Snapitam Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadapi Swapada Ankitam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Before starting the sloka recitation, everything, just will go to some background about the how Sukadeva Goswami started the conversation between the reading he will upper first pay obeisance to the Krishna, Lord Krishna, and then how it will be started. Then we will discuss this, and then after we'll go to the sloka recitations and purports and the relations. Yeah, the background first, like after the end of the incarnation of Lord Krishna. After the end of the incarnation of the Lord Krishna, actually the Kali Yuga will started on the earth. Then what will happen? The Kali entered into the kingdom of the Abhimanyu's son, in the Parikshita Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, then what will happen? Like then in that time actually Parikshita Maharaj is ready to kill the Kali, but like after what will happen? Like Kali will be approached the Parikshita Maharaj and asked to forgive him his demon activities. Then and he will ask Parikshita. Kali will ask to the Parikshita Maharaj to stay in the confined places, somewhere in the hiding somewhere else. Then Parikshita Maharaj, he want to always protect to the refugees. Then he agreed to stay in the Kali, in the in a gambling and drinking, like sex activities, on the violence, very violence, and the gold actually. Then the Kali will be stayed only in the places where the violence will be there, in that kind of place, like it's like all non-godly things, all these things are. And one day what will happen? Like a king will enter the forest and by doing the forest, like some hunting, something purpose, then he will be feel very hungry and thirsty. Then he went to the one ashrama. Then there what will happen? He will ask like something like but no one will be, everybody doing manis or everybody doing the tapas over there. Then the Parikshit will feel like he insulted because of the king came, but he never no one taking care of him. Then he insulted. What he will do? Like he will put a snake on the Muni's neck, and he left. Actually, is a King Parsh is a very is a good is a very pure devotee. Even why he did like that, like a but is a Kali. Actually, Kali stays in the gold, right, in the crown of the king. Actually, that is causes, and the king will behave like this, and at the same time in the past, actually, the Parikshit Maharaj told to the Kali, I'd stay in the places in the gold also. Then the Kali will stay on the top of the crown of the king. And then after actually the thing happened, like because of the influence of the Kali, and Parikshit Maharaj did like this. And then after that, he came to his kingdom, and he think about that the misdeed what he did, like something. Then he thought about like, okay, I did the misdeed, something will go, the Muni will come, and he will curse me, something like. Then he will think, and then he want to like he was thinking about what I need to do now, something, and he's thinking about the how can I do, then what will happen, the future upcoming things. Actually, then he come to know like the Muni's son as a Sringi Maharshi, he will actually curse to Parshura Maharaj. He will die in the 1 week uh, by the Tashakam snake. Actually, then they come to know. Then he want to decide. He decided, and he want to take he want to take renounce, and he need to leave the kingdom and everything. He want to go forest, and he want to do tapasa within the 7 days. Whatever he want to do, just he went to the Gange. He went to the nearby Ganges somewhere. He will stay, and he started doing the tapas, everything, and whatever. Yeah, tapas. And what he will do, like at the time, actually, what will happen, like, yeah, what will happen, like he started doing tapas, and there are some sages will come, like the sages will come, then Parshna Maharaj will offer the obeisances to the sages all, and will tell like what will happen to them, and I will ask like, this is what happened to me, the Shingi Mershi cursed me because of this thing mistake did by me. Then I want to know what I need to do in the 7 days. I'm going to live in 7 days. I need to be the I will ask like what I need to do in the 7 days. Someone is going to die, what they need to do, how they need to, everything. Then they will ask the sages. The sages will tell, they will sit in the place, and they started discussion with the sages, and he will tell like they told like this, okay, we'll tell you what we need to do in the 7 days, how we'll take the moksha, everything after the salvation, something like. Then we tell, and we'll tell, then it will like listening. Everyone, the king Parishita will greet everyone and will pray and everything, and everyone, and at the same they are discussing about this, and the same time what will happen, like the Sukhdev Goswami will appear, actually will appear in front of all the sages, and in front of the Parishita Maharaj. And then King Parishita decided like, okay, I saw the Sukhdev Goswami is a very pure. Is a by birth, actually. Sukhdev is coming here. By birth is like a very elevated Muni, actually. Everybody then like, okay, I am so blessed because of the, even for in the discussion of the sages, actually, with the sages, then Sukadeva Goswami appeared, and everybody will sit nearby Sukadeva Goswami, the children, almost everything. And then Parikshita will offer the obeisance to the Sukadeva Goswami, and he'll ask like, he will tell the same what happened to the with the Sringi Maharshi. Then he will discuss everything, and then he'll finally decide like, Sukadeva Swami, he said something like, what happened the previous time is something, how he heard Bhagavat Purana from his father, like Vyasa Maharshi. Then he will tell like, the same way I will read this slokas, whatever from the Bhagavad Purana. Then you also read this 7 days. You can hear everything 7 days, and you also get the moksha at the end. In that way, the conversation will start. Like, and before doing the conversation, actually, Sukadeva Goswami will start the prayers, offering the obeisance to the Lord Krishna. That is the one. Actually, there are like some different ways he will pray the Krishna. There are some different ways, just like how he we offer the obeisance to the Lord Krishna. There are something like a first one, we will discuss the topic something like a one is Lord relations with the material world and Lord's role as a super soul, and the third one is the Lord unparalleled opulence and Lord dealing with the conditional. So how we will deal with the conditional souls um, and at the same time there are like a the devotional service, how we need to do the devotional service and at the end and the prayers, actually the prayers and prayer requesting a lot mercy before starting the that Bhagavata Purana, reading the Bhagavata Purana, you will pray to the Lord. Actually, these all concept. Yeah. Now, sorry. Now we'll start the sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, second chapter, second canto, fourth chapter, 12th sloka. Actually, this starts like Sri Sukha Vacha Namak Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase Sadudbhava Snana Nirodha Lilaya Grihita Sakti Titaya Dehinam Antarbhavaya Anupalgasya Vartamane. Translation में जीवन के ऐसी भक्ति स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय. Sukhdev Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectable obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who for the creation of material world, accept the three modes of nature. He is the complete whole, residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable." Here, actually, this sloka talk about that material nature, like a material level. Actually, the material level is manifested by three modes. Actually, actually goodness, passion, and ignorance, like tamo, rajas, tattva gunas. And these are like and the Supreme Lord actually creates like what really the Supreme Lord creates and destroy, manifests everything, something like the same the material world, like we have like Bhagavans like Brahma, Vishnu, and Sankara, Shiva, and these all will be at the same time. Actually, what will happen like as there are forms like this, and even the Krishna, who will be like as part of the in the all the forms, like there is like we have like Purusha like Shirodaka Sai Vishnu, Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Mahavishnu. They all like Karanodaka Sai Mahavishnu and Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. They are like I will be like come to the Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu Karanodaka Sai Mahavishnu. You will be like he will create like all the universes and destroys this as like it destroys the same, like he will create and destroy the same. It will be like the universe. On pore of his skin, it will come like it will generate on universe and it will destroy in the same minute, like something like coming to the Shirodaka Sai Vishnu, he stays in every living being in the material world. The same Garbhodaka Sai in a universe. Actually, the Mahavishnu, Karnodaka Sai Vishnu will create a universes. In each universe, you will have one Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. From one Garbhodaka Vishnu and his navel on Brahma will come. Just like for each universe, you will have a one Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu and one Brahma. The same way, each universe you will have like a number of material entities, jivas. Like in the material entities, in each material entity, like is not a human being, like in an animal also, in even animals also, there is one Kshirodaka Vishnu will be stayed as Atma Paramatma, he will stay the Paramatma. These are like in the material world. Yeah. And this sloka describing the complete, he's a Lord, is a complete actually. There is a Bhagavad Gita from 1518 sloka is a complete whole actually. And the sloka also discuss about these Purusha avatars, everything. And yeah, if you go in the second one, the 13th sloka is Bhuyo Nama Sad Vijnachire Satam Asambhavaya Kila Sattva Murtaye Pumsam Punha Paramahamsa Asrame Vyavasthitanam Anumarga Das Suse. And the translation, I again offer my respectable obeisances unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotees, from all distress, and the destroyer of the further advanced in a atheistic temperament of the non-devotees demons. For those transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations. Actually, this sloka will discuss about the different kind of universe, different kind of lokas, everything, and you see in the actually in see here we have like a two nature, something like a material nature, material and spiritual, and these are like a Akila means complete actually, or it's like not kila like. As per Bhagavad Gita, there are two kinds of nature, like Prakriti. In the Prakriti, you have two kinds of Prakritis. One is the material nature, and the other one is the spiritual nature. You see, the material nature is called apara, and the spiritual is the transcendental. There are if you see like, and there are like something, the less intelligent men over here, like let's say they're unaware of the transcendental form of the Lord, and they will think about the God as a impersonal Brahman. It's a Brahman, it's like a Jyoti something, and his Brahman is like I mentioned, like Brahman is something like a simple race of his transcendental body actually. As per the Sima Brahma Samhita, there is also Aswaprabha, Prabhavata, Jagadan devotees. Like mentioned, like the devotees who are aware of his transcendental form render him service. Therefore, the Lord also reciprocates by his causeless mercy, and thus delivers his devotees from all distress. It will be and in the same way, like for the non-devotees, we have like a domain active, we have domain characters like even for them also really, and the reciprocal whatever the thing like even if it's some examples like here given Hiranyakasipu, Ravana, and Kamsa, they're like by they are still they're doing demonic activities. Still, the God will be at the end. God will give the salvation to them. They will give the mukti to the this kind of even demonical persons also. And the sloka telling about some the Paramahamsa, the stage of the Paramahamsa, what is stage of the Paramahamsa actually, as per the Kunti Mata, actually there are like how she Paramatma is Parama, who is a Paramahamsa, she like a Paramahamsa, like there are gather relation of the transcendental form, something like there are like a for sannyasi actually, sannyasi, there are some stages like a Kuti Jaka, Bahudaka, Parivarjakacharya, and Paramahamsa. These are gradually progress stages, announced order of the life actually. And Sanya, actually, what Kunti Devi, the mother of Pandavas, spoken about them in a prayer of Lord Krishna, as in Canto 1, chapter 8, actually. Even what we like in a Bhakti Yoga, who's doing the Bhakti Yoga, and they are understood like they will be at the end of the stage of the Bhakti Yoga, will be like a Paramahamsa. They will be treated as a Paramahamsa, and and they are especially to awarded Bhakti Yoga to Parahamsas actually. So ultimately, the Parahamsa is the true sense of the term. Another devotees of the Lord. And Srila Jiva Goswami is saying something like whoever accept the highest destination of his Bhakti Yoga, by which one accept the transcendental loving service of Lord. Those who accept the path of Bhakti Yoga are factual Paramahamsas. And as per the Sila Vishwanatha Chakravarti, like a Paramahamsas in the two types of Paramahamsa, only the Brahmanandis, and the impersonalist, and the Premanandis, like devotees. Actually, Brahmanandis, they are like a impersonal, they want to merge with the Brahman, something, they will be treated as a Paramahamsas also, and at the same time, devotees who's doing the service to the Lord Krishna, directly, they will be treated as a Premanandis, actually. Yeah. And here, both are transcendentalists only, and they have nothing to do with the inferior material nature, full of existence, miseries of life. This is second sloka. Third one is 14th sloka. Namo namastestu Rushavaya Satatvam Vidura Kashtaya Muhu Puyoginam Nirasta Samayasti Se Samyati Saina Radha Saswadamani Brahmani Ramsyayate Namaha. Translation: let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him who is the associates of the members of the Yadu dynasty, and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual world, yet he is enjoys his own in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. Actually, this sloka talking about the actually about the Krishna, the Lord, actually the complete form of the Krishna, and about this will talk like about the Brahma Jyoti and sky, spiritual sky, and there are like a Vaikuntha lokas, different lokas, everything discussed about the like this, and the actually the Krishna, the Lord is like always favorable with devotees and companies. There are like a constant company. He will be like a constant company and personally, as a personally and impersonal something because the personal is like a friend. If whatever there are different kind of process. We are like someone want to become like a family member or something like a friend of like he's becoming a friend of Arjuna sometime, and he become like associate neighbor. Some inhabitants like from Davana. And for them, like from Nanda Yashwa, they will be like a son, and is a become like a friend of Sudama and Sridama and Madhusudana, Madhumangala also. Yeah, there are like different ways, and there is a personal future. This all like the personal future, and you come in the impersonal future. There are something like and say impersonal is the Brahma Jyoti, who are like a Jnanis and yogis. They want to like meet with a Brahman. They think like a Brahma Jyoti as a god, as a Brahma Jyoti. Then they will even for them also they will be in the Krishna act like a Brahman, and they will allow, he will allow, Krishna will allow to them to merge with him only. These are like in the Brahma Jyoti also, like if you see this sloka telling about there are different like the spiritual sky. Actually spiritual sky like in Golaka, actually there is a very like it's non-different. There is no like you don't need any sun or moon, something like it's a always immense like the image of spiritual sky is full of spiritual planets named Vaikuntha, and they have some Vaikuntha also. And in Vaikuntha you have different lokas, like a different for each like a incarnation they will have different loka, and everybody who were beloved to the incarnation, they will go to that loka, something like, and they the Vaikuntha plans expanding these planetary portions along with his liberated devotees associates. Yeah, as I mentioned. But the impersonalists who want to merge with the existing of the Lord are always allowed to merge as one of the spiritual sparks of the Brahma Jyoti only. Yeah. And if you see like in the Golaka, the supreme planet, the Golaka now described in Bhagavad Gita as Madhama, and here in this verse the Swadama of the Lord actually, and the Krishna will stay in the Golaka Vrindavana actually. It's like we'll call it like a Swadama or Madhama, and actually about these lokas actually the Golaka. There Bhagavad Gita has like some slokas like a Bhagavad Gita 15.6. Telling like there is no actually, if you see the translation of the sloka, actually the Lord Swadama does not require any sunlight, they don't require any sunlight or moonlight something, and there is no need of electricity also. Or plus whoever goes to there never come back. Actually it's like it's a kind of mukti. Once you there's even this one is our goal, actually our goal to go back to the Godhead, and you suppose you not come back to the this material body again. Yeah, and there are like Mundaka Upanishad and Kadam Mission, there are the same will be decided about the Golaka, they'll discuss about the slokas, discuss about the Golakas. Yeah, they will the next sloka. Yeah, this sloka will discuss about the how will the first three slokas will talk about the material and the spiritual natures and sky, everything, and this will be devotional service. How will pay the obeisances or something like there. Like the sloka is yat kirtanam, yat smaranam, yat ikshanam, yat vandanam, yat charvanam, yat aharanam, lokasya sadva vidunoti kalmasham tasmai subhadya sraveshe namo namaha. Translation: let me offer my respectable obeisance unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrances, audiences, prayers, hearing, and worshipping can at once cleanses the effect of all sins of the performer. Actually, the sublime, this sloka is discussed about the how you like do the devotional service the same like by doing the chanting like and kirtan, doing chanting, kirtaning, glorifying the God, at the same time remembering God always, and remembering God means Krishna, remembering Krishna and his form, and remembering his form, his pastimes, something like at the same time by visiting temples, something like in the same kirtana also, kirtana you can do by like by singing God's sloka, or you're chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. These all like and these all here we will discuss like, and we don't need to this as per the purpose we were discussing like telling like we don't need to disappoint because of God. We are not seeing the God's physical form. Just we're not. No, but because we don't have that much of power of eyes to see the God actually, but we can by associating with Him. But even as part of the devotional process, we can chant. By chanting also we can remember the Krishna, and by doing that we can feel Krishna, and we can you can maintain the same relationship with him by not physically. We can realize we can in our like by in our chanting in remembrance we can always think about Krishna, and we can remember him always, and you don't need to disappoint at all. This I think and next we'll go to the listing. The 16th sloka. Vichakshanayascharanopasadanath sangam yuda nitar atmanaha vindantihi brahmagatim gatakalmash tasmai subhadra sravese namo namaha. Translation: Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet and relieved of all attachment to present and future existence, and without difficulty progress towards spiritual existence. Actually, this sloka discussing about how we can surrender to the Krishna, and how we can rely on him. Like and in the sloka actually, and there is some Bhagavad Gita, there are some slokas like 18th chapter 64 to 66, like 64, 65, 66. They tell about the how we need to remember Krishna, how we need to surrender to Krishna. Like there are some sloka. These slokas like one is the Sarva Bhuyatam Bhuya, and the other one Manmana Bhava Madbhakto. The other one is Sarva Dharma Parityaja. Like it will like a Krishna is telling to Arjuna, and at the same time, not only Arjuna, at the same time, applicable to all the devotees, all the jivas, how they need to surrender. My dear Arjuna, you are very dear to me. Actually, everybody dear to the Krishna, and therefore, only for your good, I will disclose the most secret part of my instructions. And it is telling like become a pure devotee of mine and give yourself unto me, and I promise you full spiritual existence, by which you may gain the eternal right of transcendental loving service unto me. Just give up all other ways of religiosity and exclusively surrender unto me, and believe that I will protect from you sinful acts, and I shall deliver you. Do not worry anymore. Krishna is giving the like, assurance actually. Just surrender me. Don't need to do whatever you do, and just whatever. Don't think about the fruitive actions. Just think about whatever you do it, and whatever surrender it to me, and then don't expect anything from the fruitive action. Just whatever you do it, and surrender it to me, then he will take care of. Krishna will take care of. He's telling like he's again like he's a promiser note, access something like what you do, and don't just surrender to me. I will take care of you. Rest of don't think about this. Krishna himself writing, giving his assurance to the everyone actually. There are something like this. Like how we can do the law instruction of the Lord. These are like intelligent. Take serious notice. Like we need to take the serious notes of that Lord instructions. And there is like in the relation there are like a knowledge. Knowledge is the part of the spiritual relation, and it's called the conventional knowledge. And there is another thing like God relation. Is a more than the confidential knowledge actually. We'll go to the next sloka. 17th sloka. Tapasvino dana parashashvino Manashvina mantra vida sumangalah Kshemamna vindanti vinayad arpanam tasmai subhadra sraveshe namo namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna again and again, because the great learned sages, the great performance of charity, the great workers of distinctions, the great philosophers and mystics, the great chanters of the Vedic hymns, and the great followers of Vedic principles cannot achieve any fruitful result without dedication of such great qualities to the service of the Lord. Yeah. Actually, this talk are talking about like a whatever we need to do, we need to do surrender to the Krishna, and you need to the service as part of service. You need to do something. You are doing something, or you're doing okay. This I am doing it for myself. This if you are taking pride from that, it won't. I don't want anything. You know, you won't get anything. It's like a material. I think. Oh, you did something, and oh, you are going temple. I'm doing some service. Oh, I did the service. I did this. If you're thinking like that, you are not going to get any any thing in that. Actually, if you do service and you surrender to the Krishna and you offer that to the free action to the Krishna, then that will be a good. Actually, telling that one, I think we need to always like a we need to arpana, we need to dedicate to the God only. Actually, whatever we need to do, we need to do you need to satisfy the Lord Krishna, and you need to pleasure of Krishna only. You need to do whatever you are doing. When you are not doing, you are not please yourself, and you need to please the God and Guru. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. 18th sloka. Kirtana hunandra kirata hunandra pulindra pulaksha abira sumba yavana kashadaya yenya cha papayad apara apasrayashayaham sudyanti tasmai prabha vishnave namaha. Translation: Kirata Huna Andhra Pulindra Pulkasha Abira Sumbaha Yavana, members of the Kasha races and even other addicted to the sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Due to his being the supreme power, I beg to offer my respectful obeisance unto him. Here, Sukhdev Goswami began his prayer by discussing the word Yat Kirtanam. So also Lord Chaitanya recommended that simply by glorifying the Lord's holy name, a tremendous change of heart can take place, by which the complete misunderstanding between the human nations and created by the politicians can at once be extinguished. Actually, yeah, he's talking about the now. Actually, this talking about the telling about the different places. Actually, like Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulindra, Pulaksh, and different wherever in the world. Actually, in the world, wherever you have. Where there is any race, something like each person actually is a jiva. Jiva, if we pray to the God, jiva, and God will take care of everyone. He will treat everyone as the same in the manner. There is no between the. They mention like a person, even the most sinful man, even the simple, he can at once by purify the system of contact with the pure Vaishnava devotees. Actually, a Vaishnava therefore can accept a bona fide disciple from any part of the world without any consideration of a caste and creed, and promote him by regulative principles to the status of a pure Vaishnava, who is a transcendental to Brahmanical culture. Yeah, we need to approach a guru. Actually, Vaishnava, we need to approach a guru is from the disciple section only. We need to approach a guru and we need to follow him. Even the sinful person also, even a sinful persons also, they will get a moksha by approaching guru and following the guru instructions, everything. Then we'll get a moksha. And the conclusion of this sloka is like something I mentioned, like that the Lord being a powerful can under any and every circumstances accept anyone from the part of the world, either personally or through his bona fide manifestations as the spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya accepted many devotees from communities other than the Varnasramites, and he himself declared to teach us that he does not belong to any caste or social order of life, but that he is the eternal servant of the Lord, who maintained the damsels of Vrindavan, Lord Krishna. That is a way of self-realization. Actually, this sloka I'm talking about, that's a way in how we need to like surrender to the Krishna spiritual master at the same time. There is we don't do any discrimination between the person to person, something like even for the race, something like even we need to not only one or so much. We need to take care of everyone, either in simple persons, or we need to like as a guru, we need to we need to follow and that's like 19th sloka. Shayeshatma Sayesha Atmatmatman Adishvara Taimaya Dharmamaya Tapomaya Gata Valike Raja Sankara Dibhir Vitarkya Linga Bhagavan Prasiddhatam. Yeah. The translation is, he is the super soul and supreme lord of all self-realized souls. He is a personification of Vedas, religious scriptures, and asterisks. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma and Shiva and all those who are transcendental to all pretensions. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may the supreme absolute be pleased with him. Actually, this sloka even telling like even Brahma, even Lord Shiva also will pray to the Krishna. Actually, Krishna is the Krishna is nothing but even the Bhagavata Prasad. Even is a kind of Bhagavata is in different forms and yeah. And here the example is even some example like Brahma and Lord Shiva are specially stated here. Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, Srimati Lakshmi, and their four Kumara, Sankara, Sanata, etc. all leaders of the four desireless Vaishnava Sampradayas. They are all freed from the pretension. Srila Jiva Goswami interprets the word Gata Valikai as Projita Kaitavahi, are those who are freed from the all pretensions, the unalloyed devotees only. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is something like the sloka, actually the sloka talking about something like the Lord is for everyone because no one can achieve the result of his respective desires without his sanction. But as stated by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 8.9, all such results are awarded by him. For the Lord is Adishwara, the original controller for everyone, namely the Vedantis, the great Karma Kandiyas, the great religious leaders, the great performance of the austerity, and all who striving the spiritual advancement, but ultimately he is realized by the present penitential devotees only. Therefore, special stress is given to the devotional service of the Lord Srila Sukhdev Goswami. 20th sloka. Sriyakpati, Ajnapati, Prajapati, Diyampati, Lokapati, Dharapati, Pati Gatis Chanda, Chandaka, Vishnim Satvatam, Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. Translation: May Lord Krishna, who is a worshipper, Lord of all devotees, the protector and glory of all the kings like Andhaka and Vishnu of the Yadu dynasty, the husband of all goddess of fortune, the director of all sacrifices, and therefore the leader of all living entities, the control of intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, and the supreme incarnation of the earth, the supreme all in all, be merciful upon me. Yeah. Sukadeva Goswami praying about the God is mentioning everything. Is like everything, whatever it's like a cause of all causes. Like there's the cause in material nature, everything is only nothing. The low cost, whatever, everything is a mention like a Patri, Sriya Pati and Vajnapati, something like a different kind of discussing here. You see, yeah. Actually, what you call something Ajnapati, like whatever exams will offer, will sacrifice will go to the exams that Ajnapati will take. Actually, Krishna itself, he will take the exams at the end. Actually, initially, he will take the Agni something. From there, he will go to Krishna's and everything else. Same like he's also he's like a personality godhead. That's why he's called like a Prajapati. Also, he'll take care of everyone. He's he's a personality of God, a supreme personality of God. Like all the part and parcel of the supreme personality, and then you will part of this, and when you will take care of the Prajapati, will take up everyone. And at the same time, this sloka talking about the Paramatma super soul and Yeah. And you're taking the different types of, and this sloka talking about different types of pati mentioned in the verse. As meant, Lord Sri Krishna and Sukhdev Goswami has therefore especially mentioned the pati and gati actually of Yadu dynasty. The memorable of the Yadu dynasty knew that Lord Sri Krishna is everything, and all of them intended to return to Lord Sri Krishna after he had finished his transcendental pastimes of the earth. The Yadu dynasty was annihilated by the will of the Lords because it's a big member actually who came with the God Krishna and the Golaka on the earth actually. After that, once Krishna left the body and material body and he went to the Golaka, then everybody know actually he is going, and everyone also follow to the Krishna after that to go back to the Golaka. Yeah. 21 sloka. Yad angri abhi dhyana samadhi dautaya diyanurupa shayanti tattvam atmanaha vadanti chaitat kavayo yada rucham same mukundo bhagavan prasiddhat. Translation. It is the personality of Goddess Sri Krishna who gives liberation by thinking of his lotus feet at every second, following in the footsteps of authorities. The devotee in trance can see the absolute truth. The learned mental speculators, however, think of him according to their whims. May the Lord be pleased with me. Yeah. Actually, the mystic actually talking about the mystic yogis and devotees actually devotees, they will always be. I want to just surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord second every second. Actually, remember the lotus feet of the every second lotus feet of the Krishna, and at the same time, you need to establish the real trance because you have such a realization. His mind and realities are completely cleansed. Actually, when you always you remember Krishna and when you surrender to the Krishna, it will be actually it will give the purification of our heart. Actually, this and it's talking about some relations. There is an intimate relations between the swan and lotus feet. There is some example. This sloka is like talking about the example of the swan. How will be a swan? It will be take the lotus feet. Actually, there. So the swan is like the swan will take the lotus feet. Though the comparison is very appropriate. Without becoming a swan of Paramahamsa, one cannot enter into the network of the lotus feet of the Lord. Actually. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, the mental speculators, even by dint of learned scholars, cannot even dream of absolute truth by speculating over it for eternity. The Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to such mental speculation, and because they cannot enter into the network of stem of the lotus stem of the Lord. All material speculators differ in conclusions. Yeah, saying something as many conclusions as many ways. Actually, something like yada, like something like a yada rucham. Actually, whatever you think like a. If you think like you have so many conclusions, so many ways, something if you think like it will be like one. But the Lord is not like talking about like in a shop. He's not a shopkeeper trying to please all sort of customers in the mental speculation exchange. The Lord is what he is, the absolute personality of Godhead, and he demands his demands absolute surrender unto him only. Actually, his demand to the we need to surrender to the Lord. Otherwise, you need to take care. Actually, Krishna is telling you we need to surrender. He's demanding, not requesting. That's why you need to always there. The pure devotee, actually, we need to surrender to the Krishna. At the same time, we need to surrender to the Guru also. We need to take up like the whatever Jiva Tattva. Lord Chaitanya asserts that living entity Jivas is eternally the servitor of the Lord, and that is simultaneously one with the different form of the Lord. The Tattva of Lord Chaitanya is shared by all four Sampradayas of the Vaishnava school. And there is no other Vaishnava Acharya who may think of the Lord and himself as one. Actually, like if wherever the spiritual master like if thinking about him as a god, then he is not he's not a real Acharya. He's not a real Acharya. Even Acharya also think he will think like he himself is as a servant of the servant. Actually, in the same time, we need to be like we need to think a servant of the servant. You need to servant of the acharyas, our spiritual master. And just like you have Satsara Prabhu always think like you will think like Acharya, he is a servant of the servant. Like at the same time, we need to think about us as your servant of the Satsara Prabhu. Like we're not thinking like I'm a devotee, I'm a senior devotee, I'm doing practicing so many years. It's not like that. It's not. It's what this talk about that. So 22 sloka. Prachoditayena pura saraswati वितन्वता सतीं स्मृतिं हृदि स्वलक्षण प्रादुराभूत् किलक्ष्यतं समेरिष्णं ऋषभा प्रसीदातं. Translation: May the Lord, who is the beginning of the creation, amplified the potential knowledge, Brahma, from within the heart and inspired him with the full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. I was telling like actually even Brahma actually will create like when you actually Brahma is he born from the novel of the Vishnu as Vishnu is Garbhodaka. Vishnu is like part of the Garbhodaka, is one form of the Krishna only. And what will even for him also Brahma will create after that. Brahma will then Brahma Krishna will tell like you just create everything whatever the material water, then we will start creating all the material water. That's even Brahma, for Brahma is a Krishna given the powers, then he started doing that. Otherwise, he can't able to do it. In the same way, even Sukhdev praying like the same way, please give me the mercy, your mercy. Then I need to spoke about your pastimes, everything. Then you'll start. Yeah, you'll start that one. And will go to the, and this talk talking about something like the spiritual is become like a Srotriya Brahmanistam. Srotriya means here who has come down from the disciple succession, and the Brahmanism means like who is fully surrendered to the supreme absolute like Krishna. 23. Bhuter Mahadvirya imak puro vibhur nirmaya sete yad amusu purushaha bhungte guna sodasha sodasatmakaha solang Bhagavan Vachamsmi me. Translation: May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the material created bodies of the elements of lying down within the universe, and who is a Purusha incarnation, causes the living being by to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements. Actually, you are what you are talking. This talking the devotees should be like an instrument of the Krishna. Actually, we need to we always should be like an instrument of the Krishna. Then only will whatever you will be speaking, you are preaching something, you are preaching that is Krishna is using us. Otherwise, he can do even he can he's given a message to us, and then he's given a message, and because of that only we are able to do whatever you're doing currently. Yeah, these. And you're talking about the how is like Krishna he created all the system. Initially, he's created a system principles as there are like a earth, water, fire, and air, and same time the 11 sense gratification. These are all created in material nation. Then only we started enjoying all this. But we came to the material nature to enjoy ourselves. Otherwise, we're not enjoyers. Krishna is the Bhagavan is the enjoyer, supreme enjoyer. Yeah, and the same. And then these after praying all this, and then Sukhdev Goswami prays for the mercy of the Lord, and not only for the being helpful personally in the presenting the truth, but also the helping others for whom we do like to speak. Actually, yeah. These are the slokas. Please forgive me if I any misspoken anything, something like, and maybe I took it so much time. Please forgive me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Siva Prabhu. Wow, wonderful presentation, Prabhu. You covered all the verses and so many beautiful points. And you narrated the pastime and how in the Kali is staying in gambling, violence, gold, all of those things, and how Maharaj Parikshit was influenced by the gold in his crown, and the story itself, and then you talked about Sukhdev Goswami's appearance and King Maharaj surrendering onto them, and then you also talked about the prayer structure and how the first three verses were dealing with material world and the conditioned soul and Purusha avatars, Prakriti, material nature, spiritual nature, two sides of transcendental manifestation. And then you also talked about how the rest of the verses are for, glorifying the Lord. And each verse you dissected very nicely, Prabhu, how to glorify the Lord, how we can surrender to the Lord, confidential knowledge, more confidential knowledge, what we need to do first, what we need to do as service, and how we can be purified by contact by pure Vaishnavas, and many more points, Prabhu. And ultimately that we have to think of ourselves as an instrument for carrying out Krishna's will. Thank you sincerely, Prabhu. And with that, devotees, we will end BhagavatSanga program. We will resume next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Actually, sorry, Prabhu. Sorry if I misspoken anything. Just forgive me. This all. And same, I need to thank you to the Satsara Prabhu and Jasubra Mataji and Prashant Prabhu for giving this opportunity. Thank you for all, and please forgive me if I misspoken anything. Yeah, and I took like almost 20 minutes more. Please forgive me all the way.